Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Java Basics. Today we're going to be talking about for loops. Now this is the second of two videos about for loops. The first one we talked about the basic version. Now we're talking about a more advanced version. In other languages this is known as a for each loop. In Java we don't actually use the word each. If you missed the first video of for loops or any of the other videos in this basic series, I'm going to put a link to both in the description below so you can catch up on anything you may have missed. Let's get right to it. If you want to learn Java programming, or just programming in general, subscribe to this channel. We put out a lot of videos that range from beginner topics to more advanced programming concepts. Also, please like this video, share it with a friend, and write a comment as well. It goes a long way to help promote a channel like this. Now, let's get back to the video. Let's start by reviewing the basic structure of a for loop. We start by declaring a variable and initializing it to some starting value. We execute all the code inside the curly brackets. When we're done, we increment our variable to the next value. We check our continue condition. If that remains true, we jump back into our brackets and do all of this again. When we get to the end, we increment, check our continue condition, rinse and repeat. When we're done, we jump down here and we continue along our merry way. Let's look at an example that we did in the prior video. We have an array called animals. It's a string array, and we're initializing it using the shortcut, so it's going to be length 5, and here are the values. We loop through all of the values. We start I equals 0. We continue as long as I is less than the length of the array, and we print out all of the animals. So stepping through this, let's see how it works. We have the variable I. I is starting out at 0. We then print animals of 0, which means we're going to print cat. Then we increment I, so I is now 1. Is I less than the length of animals? Well, the length of animals is 5, so I is less than 5. So we print again. We print animals of 1. In this case, it would be dog. And then we increment I again. 2. Is I less than 5? It sure is. We continue. We print animals of 2. We increment I. Is I less than 5? Yes. We continue our loop. We print animals of 3. We increment I. Is I less than 5? Yes. We print animals of 4. We increment I. I is now 5. Is I less than 5? No. We jump out of our loop. And we finish. This is the basic for loop. Here's another way of doing it. What we're doing is we're declaring not an index for our array. We're declaring a string which will be a value of the array. And we're saying that this variable will take on, one at a time, all the values or all the elements of the array animals. So we have string current animal colon our array. And then our loop will print this variable. Now how exactly is this working? Let's trace it and see. Here's our standard animals array. At the very beginning of our loop, we declare a variable current animal. Here it is. And it's going to take on the very first element of the array animals. So current animal will initially be set to cat. We jump in our loop. We print the current animal. We loop back up to the top because we're done. When we loop back up to the top, our variable current animal will be changed from the first element, or the 0th element, I should say, to the whatever element is next. So now it will be dog. Since we're not at the end of our array, we jump into the loop again. We print the current animal. Well, this variable is now dog. We get to the end of our loop, jump back up to the top. We move to the next item in our array. So current animal is now lion. Since we're not at the end, we print the current animal, jump back to the top of our for loop, go to the next item. So current animal now has the value of tiger. Since we didn't get to the end of our array, we jump into the loop and we print the current animal, which is tiger. We go back to the top of our for loop, go to the next item in our array. This variable is now bear. We haven't gotten to the end of our array yet. We are at the last element, but we haven't gone off the end of our array. So we jump into the loop. We print the current animal variable, which is now bear. We jump back up to the top. We move to the next element in our array, which doesn't exist. Because it doesn't exist, the loop ends, and we go down here. And that's it. It's really not that complicated. And I find it a much easier way to traverse an array. And here's the code in NetBeans. Let's just run it and see how it works. And there it is. It prints every element of the array in order. Pretty straightforward. I hope you learned something from watching this video. Please remember to subscribe and share this video with others who are learning Java programming. Thanks for watching, and take care, everyone.